Good morning children, welcome back to the second part of this video. So in first part we had studied how Tisani Doshi had gone for an expedition means an educational tour of Antarctica. Fine, and we studied that how there was a time when India and Antarctica were the part of a supercontinent Gondwana, and how Antarctica is the source of energy for this earth. That's what we had studied in previous video. Now let's go ahead from human impact. So let's see what is mentioned here. Human civilization have been around for a paltry 12,000 years, barely a few seconds on the geological clock. So our existence, humans' existence on the earth is from 12,000 years, and of course it would look very long time, but in actual 12,000 years is just equal to few seconds on geological clock, because see, earth has spent millions of years in getting its modern formation. So in front of millions of years there is no value of 12,000 years. That's what is mentioned here. In that short amount of time we have managed to create a ruckus, a kind of disturbance, etching our dominance, and we are engraving our dominance over nature with our villages, towns, cities. We have mentioned our dominance, on the earth through villages, towns, cities, and mega cities. They are the evidences of our dominance over nature. The rapid increase with other species for limited resources. The rapid increase of human population has left us battling with other species for limited resources. Of course, we are extending our dominance. We are trespassing, every place. And because of the same, other species, they are in a combat. They are in a fight with us for their own existence. Because what we are doing, we are encroaching their area. We are occupying their area, their jungle, their mountain. So that is why now we are in a battle, with other species of this earth. Limited sources and the unmitigated burning of fossil fuels. And of course, unmitigated means which cannot be reduced, unreducible burning of fossil fuels we are burning. Fossil fuels has now created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world, and of course that has created a blanket everywhere. Carbon dioxide is there around the world, which is slowly but surely increasing the average global temperature. And that's quite obvious. Because of that, every year is becoming hotter and hotter. If we compare the annual temperature of the world, so what is being found every year, the temperature is going higher and higher. And let me tell you the drastic outcomes of it. You would be startled to know, this is scientific assumption, the way global temperature is enhancing. If it is not checked by 2050, many coastal mega cities would be submerged under the water. Cities like Bombay, New York, or many other cities are there which are on seaport. They would be submerged under the water. They would be deleted, from the world map. So that is why to check enhancing global temperature is of tall of hour, and that is why it has to be controlled by hook or by crook. So let's see further. Climate change is one of the most hotly contested environmental debate of our time. Of course, this topic is discussed everywhere. In every nook and corner, there are people who are talking about enhancing global temperature, carbon layers which are spreading themselves day in, day out. So it's not a new theory or debate which is in front of us. It's everywhere, and it's done so oftenly. What are the things discussed? Will the West Antarctic ice sheet melt entirely? This is discussed quite oftenly by scientists, by common people as well. Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? Would be spread? All right, you must be knowing Gulf Stream. They are the main cause of cold in many areas. They would be ended. Will it be the end of the world? In a crucial element, sorry, the only place in the world. So in this way, will it be end of the world as we know it? Maybe, maybe not. Who can say? It might ruin the world, it might bring the doomsday for us. Of course, this is the thing which is debated quite oftenly, but seriously, we have not reached a final conclusion about it. Either way, Antarctica, but yes, in both the ways, Antarctica, the only place in the world which has never sustained a peristine. What is peristine? Ancient, sorry, human population, and therefore remains relatively peristine. This is the only place. Antarctica is the only place where population has never been found, and this is the reason this is still found in its most ancient form. But more importantly, because it holds in its ice cores 500,000-year-old carbon record trapped in its layer of ice. But yes, there is significant thing about it. Since no human existence has been found in Antarctica, that is why in its ice cores we can find 500,000 old carbon sheets, all right, which are recorded to be found, and where they have been found trapped in its layer of ice. Fine. If we want to study and examine the Earth's past, present, and future, Antarctica is the place to go. So, the writer says, if we have to read past, present, and future of the world, Antarctica is best place to be, because it is still in its most ancient form, and somewhere this place is the future decider for the world. How it is future decider, we would study further. See, students on ice, the program I was working with on the Shokoskai. You must be knowing that this was the ship, on which all the students had gone to Antarctica. And what is the name of the program through which all the students were taken there? The name of the program is Students on Ice. All right. Aims to do exactly this by taking high school students to the ends of the world and providing them with inspiring educational opportunities which will help them foster and develop a new understanding and respect for our planet. So this was the intention of taking the student for this program. What is the name of the program? Student on Ice program. So, this expedition, again, what is expedition? Educational tour, had a high aim. The aim of this tour was to inculcate the meaningful understanding in the soft and tender minds of young children for fostering their ideologies, their notion, ideas, how to safeguard Mother Earth. Of course, so this was the intention of taking all these students there. All right, they were to be taught how to respect our planet. It's been in operation for 6 years now. So this was the 6th year, for this expedition. 6 year now, headed by, and it was chaired by Canadian Geoff Green, who got tired of karting celebrities, means, residing celebrities there, karting celebrities, and retired rich curiosity seekers who could only give back in a limited way. All, this group, according to this, man, Geoff Green, could not do much for this planet, because generally when these kind of people come there, they come for fun seeking. They just have curiosity. What is Antarctic? How it looks like? You know. So they have just curiosity. They come to satiate that. They don't have any noble intention, which in fact goes along with them from there. So these kind of people just come there for for the sake of fun. So that's why it in fact disappoint Canadian, who is in fact in charge of this program. What is the program? A student ice program. So he in fact does not get much interested, after escorting these kind of people. But of course, he in fact loves to find children who have to shape the future of the world. And of course, they are with the soft mind. They can be inculcated with this important notions easily. And that is why, Mr. Carter loves to have a student over there. Give back in a limited way. These people cannot do much for planet because they are done with their ideology. They have already shaped their mind. With Student on Ice, he offers the future generation of policy makers. Of course, students are policy makers, and that is why a life-changing experience. What they learn from here, that goes with them forever, and of course, that makes a deep hole in their mind. They literally realize, they visually realize that how the activities of human are impacting, they are in fact causing a damage, a deep damage to our planet. So that's what they learn from here and they take along with them. At an age when they are ready to absorb, learn, and most importantly, act. Yes, they are the future makers of the planet. So that is why these kind of children, when come on Antarctica, this visit, this expedition becomes very much meaningful. The reason the program has been so successful is because it's impossible to go anywhere near the South Pole. Every Tom, Dick, Harry cannot go there. It needs great preparation, great acclimatization to be there. So this is the reason whosoever reaches there understand the vital significance of being there. All right, and not be affected by it. It's impossible. If you are there, you won't be affected, by the things going on there on Antarctica. It's easy to be blessed, means to be fainted about polar ice caps melting while sitting in the comfort zone of our respective latitude and longitude. So the writer is mentioning, a very realistic point here. When we watch these kind of sites on our television, on our laptop, computer, we give, reaction. We in fact pose off to be fainting. We show our great concerns, our anxieties toward these things. These things are normal. All right, these reactions are normal because we are way away, from the realistic happening. So these things are not very much impactful. Our reactions even are not very much impactful when we watch ice melting, icebergs, they are spreading, parting. So this reaction of ours, like fainting reaction, showing our amazement, showing our concern is obvious in a limited way. But when you can visibly see glacier retreating, all right, withdrawing themselves, separating themselves from their part, and ice shelves collapsing, you begin to realize that the threat of global warming is very real. So this in fact becomes seriously very meaningful when you are there and when you experience for everything first handed, visual experiences there. It in fact makes you realize how what we see on our television is seriously a great threat for our existence. So this makes journey very meaningful. Antarctica, because of a simple ecosystem and lack of biodiversity, there is a not great variety of biodiversity, is the perfect place to study how little changes in the environment can have big repercussion, mean influence, consequences. All right, like This is very difficult in other areas because there the life chain is so complicated, it's so intricate that it cannot be understood. But there is a simplicity of life chain system, so that is why it can be understood there very vividly, apparently. Take the microscopic phytoplankton. What is phytoplankton? Those grasses. So they are grasses of the sea that nourish and sustain that entire southern ocean floor. And can you imagine? Those grasses are the base. They are the foundation of entire food chain of Antarctic Ocean. How? Let's study. These single cell plants, they are single cell plant, use the sunlight to assimilate, means to absorb carbon. So these are the grasses which absorb carbon, and of course maintain a balance of different gases in Antarctica, and of course they cause a redemption of a spreading of carbon there and synthesize organic compound in that wondrous, in that surprise and most important of process called photosynthesis. So see, even photosynthesis goes on in Antarctica also. And how does that take place? On account of phytoplankton grasses. So these are the grasses which even does photosynthesis there in Antarctica also. Scientists warn that a further depletion of the ozone layer will affect the activities of phytoplankton, which in turn will affect the life of all the marine animals. All the sea animals would be affected, because if life is there, mainly this grass is the base of the same. And if this grass get destroyed, of course it would destroy the food chain of all marine animals over there and birds of the region, of that region, and the global carbon cycle. It would impact the global carbon cycle also. How? Because if more carbon is there, carbon is absorbed there by these grasses. If more carbon is there, of course it would cause depletion of ice sheet. Ice will melt, and melting ice will enhance sea level, and this increased sea level will submerge most of the coastal cities. And in this way, you just imagine that how a little grass is in fact holding the responsibility of entire earth. My God, jaw-dropping fact that how life is being sustained by a little grass. Alright, metaphor. So, in the parable of the phytoplankton, so in this respect, there is a great metaphor. It's a great symbol embodiment for existence. If our existence is there, this is just because that grass. So let's move there, save this grass. No, if we go, the grass will be destroyed. Take care of a small thing and the big thing will fall into place. So that's what this example tells us, that we are supposed to take care of every small thing. So see, walk on the ocean. My Antarctic experience was full of such epiphanies. So epiphanies means emotional moment, beautiful experiences. So it was full of beautiful experiences. Just a sec, I have gone on wrong page. Yes, but the best occurred just short of Antarctic Circle at 65.55 degrees south. But Pisani Doshi say, but the best experience she felt when she was at 65.55 degree in south. The Sokolsky, that ship, had managed to wedge, means to get stuck, herself in a thick white stretch of ice between Peninsula and Tadpole Island. So there were island, Peninsula and Tadpole Island. There was thick sheet there. So ship in fact got stuck there between them island, which was preventing us from going any further. Because of thick ice sheet, the ship was not able to sail further. The captain decided we were going to turn around, and it was decided that now in fact they were supposed to take a U-turn turn around and head back north. But before we did, we were all instructed to climb down the gangplank. Gangplank is means planks are there which are used to climb up and go down, from the ship. If you have to come up on the ship, you in fact walk on this plank. That plank is called a gangplank, and walk on the ocean. And in fact they were instructed to walk on the ocean because ocean had a frozen sheet on the top surface. So the captain instructed them, because the ship had to take a u-turn because of any technical reason, they were asked to go off the ship and to walk on the ocean. So there we were, all 52 of us. They were literally walking on ocean, kitted out in Gore-Tex, and they were completely covered in Gore-Tex. So Gore-Tex are actually woolen waterproof clothes, and glares means spectacles. Walking on a star. Star means firm, strong. Whiteness. What was whiteness? That eye, frozen ice on the top surface of the ocean, then seemed to spread out forever. And that seemed to spread out forever. It looked that ice sheet was everywhere around. Underneath, out our feet was a meter thick ice pack, and then ice sheet was there underneath their feet, and underneath that 180 meters of living, breathing salt water in the periphery, means in the outer range, and in our outer range, crab bitter seas were stretching and sunning themselves on the ice floor. So floating ice sheet were there, and on those floating ice sheet, what they saw, that these seas were there. Crabetta seas were there. They were sunning. They were taking sunbath in front of them up on ice floes. Ice floes mean, swimming, floating ice sheet, much like a stray dog will do under the shade of banyan tree. And this side was exactly the same. The way, stray dogs are there, they in fact take the sun bath under the banyan tree. Likewise, those seals were sunning. They were taking sun bath, on floating ice. So that was a memorable sight for Tisani Joshi. Just a sec. I have gone wrong. Be online.